Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary, middle, and high school age. We are finishing up our 12th year homeschooling this year. If you are not subscribed, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you are notified of all of my future videos. Today, we are going to be doing part one of many of my homeschool planning for 2023-2024. So let's get started. Okay guys, it is time. It's time to start thinking about 2023-2024, which seems so crazy to me. I can't believe that we are at this point already. I know that it's probably early for some people, but I also feel like a lot of people at this point in the year, February, March, you are saying, I am ready to be done with the current homeschool year. So what about next year? What is going on next year? Now, that is not to say that we stop all of our curriculum or we stop our homeschool year now in favor of just planning for next year, but it is a time to start thinking about what's working well and the challenges that we have been having over the year and how we can make changes for the new year. So the first thing that I do when I start to think about the new homeschool year is I really just start lists. And so everybody has a list of things that I'm thinking about when I think of curriculum, or if I see somebody mention something online, I will write it down in my Erin Condren teacher planner. This is my 2022-23 planner, and because the new planners have not released yet, hoping they come in April this year. They were late last year. So I just start brainstorming. What are the things that I know we need to work on for next year? Obviously, you have to work within your state's homeschool law. In Maine, we have certain subjects that we have to work through and make progress in, but what topics and content or how those subjects are taught is completely up to us. So I know that I have to cover our basics, and then I also have to consider high school level stuff for Emma, and also now for Jack. He would be in 8th grade if he were in public school, but 8th grade is typically when it's when I started Emma on more high school level work. So yeah. So Emma is actually finishing up her 2nd year of high school this year, although she would be finishing up her freshman year if she were in public school. It may be confusing to you. So she has 2 years of high school under her belt and will be going into 3rd year high school courses next year. So I know some of that stuff. Some of the stuff that I already know she's going to be doing. Algebra 2. I know that she's going to be doing Spanish 3. I know that she has to do chemistry. However, I'm really up in the air on chemistry. I'm going to have a video soon of all the different chemistry options that we are looking at. If you've seen any of my homeschool update videos, you will know that we are using Apologia Biology this year, and it has been an absolute mess. So I think that this course is good. It has a lot of information, but it's almost too much information, and the way that it's presented is not laid out as well as it could be, I think, in my opinion. Obviously, biology is a very vocabulary heavy course anyways. I took honors biology when I was in high school, and I do not remember some of this stuff. Obviously, high school was a long time ago for me, but I do think that it has been her most challenging course this year, and yeah, so I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do for chemistry yet. So those are some of the things that I already know. I already know that she's going to be doing 20th century world history for her history this year, and whatever the literature is, I don't know what it's called at the moment. It could be 20th century world lit. That might be what it's called. Level 300 from Sunlight. So I know a lot of the next things that Emma is going to be doing, and just trying to figure out how I want to structure that, I'm not sure yet. So I'm just writing down ideas. So that is where I start. I just need to make lists and write down things that I'm interested in researching more. And then the other thing that I do is shop my own resources. Because I've been homeschooling so long, I have a lot of curriculum. We have, how many levels do we have from Sunlight? We have like 13 or 14 levels from Sunlight. We have every level up through 100 except for level F. And so I have a lot of curriculum to choose from. And so that's kind of where I start with my younger kids. As I have gone up through the years, I have always purchased the next level for Emma, starting with, when we started with P3-4, I just got P4-5, and then I got A and B and C. And so I always bought an all subjects package from Sunlight. In March, it was usually when they were having a discount on their full year curriculum before they started the updates, which their updates are always on April 1st. Unfortunately, I think that their sale has already passed by. They may have some other sales going on in March to purchase the old curriculum before it's updated. I think the only updates to the younger cores this year are in Bible. I don't think there are any major updates to the history or the literature selections for P3-4 through J. I don't think that there are any changes. 100 definitely had some big changes. I'm not sure about the other high school levels, but what I do is I would just purchase the next level, and I knew that I would have Jack coming along. This was way before I had Lucy. So I knew that I would be using it twice. Now I'm using it a third time. And so the third time means that I do have to update some instructor's guides, as well as look and see what other books may have been released for those levels since I have done them with Emma and Jack, because even with Jack, it's been 4 or 5 years since he's done some of these levels that Lucy is now doing. So I write down my list. I start looking at the different resources, and I start researching the different ideas that I have had over the last couple of months. I do probably start making my lists in January, and part of that is because we do vision boards for the kids every January right before we start our second semester. The kids sit down, they're down here on the floor right now, and they will cut out pictures and write out lists and ideas of things that they are interested in learning, goals, things that they want to do this year. I have them do this every January, and a lot of that stuff can't really be implemented in our current homeschool year. There are definitely some things that we're able to change and work on earlier. But if it's a big learning project that I have to find tools and resources for, or a topic of interest that they have, that's usually, I start to research it now, and then we implement new tools and resources in July when we start our new homeschool year. So those vision boards are something that I use all year long to figure out what is next for my kids. I do check in with them monthly on their passion projects to find out what tools they need, and also to make sure that what they were interested in January is still an interest for them. One thing that Jack has been talking about for a couple of years now is learning Japanese, because he's very interested in working for Nintendo. And I've really struggled finding a Japanese curriculum because, a lot of I feel like he really needs an in-person class for that, but that's not something that's really local for us. And I'm not sure an online option would be good, like a live online class would work for him. So I have a couple of ideas for Japanese classes, but I need to do some more research for them. So I look at what we've been doing. I look at how things have been going. I'm not yet doing my end of year review. I do have a whole list of questions that I go through each year to evaluate our year as a whole. I kind of do a basic rundown of what went well and what challenges we had each month when I do my monthly reset. So I kind of have an idea. I do that mainly so that I can make little adjustments instead of just having to make huge adjustments like once a year. I try to make little adjustments monthly, and that is very helpful. But things like her biology class this year, Emma's biology class this year, that has been a real struggle. And so it's not something where I can just switch halfway through the year. I know that some people do that. It's not something that works for me. We will finish her biology class and then look for something different for chemistry for next year. It's a little bit of a challenge to make some adjustments when you know that a course is really not great for your child but still needs to be completed. But then, it also gives you some focus as to, well, why isn't it working? And high school science is a little bit different because there's such different courses. Biology is not the same as chemistry, is not the same as physics. So in that aspect, it's going to be, I think chemistry will be a little bit easier for Emma because she really does enjoy algebra, but this year has just been kind of not great for her for science. She just doesn't enjoy it, and that's sad. But she is looking forward to the dissections. I'm not looking forward to those, but anyways, so once I have my lists, I'm able to start researching things and looking at the resources that I already own, especially for Lucy and Jack, because they are younger and we have so much curriculum in the house, so many books. Typically for Jack, I will pick various books from various levels for his literature or language arts course, while also doing whatever level language arts might work for him. I think next year he's going to be doing level J language arts, even if we do level 100 history, because I don't think that he is ready for the level 100 literature. But I think that he will really enjoy the level J, which is sci-fi and fantasy. So I mix and match a bunch of different things based on how my kids are doing. The same thing with Lucy. She's going to be doing History D, which is year 1 of 2 of US history, but I don't believe that she is going to be doing the readers from level D. That will be something that she will do later on, and that's okay because she is on the younger end of the age range for level D, and so that is fine. And I do make some adjustments as to what we use for some of the spines for history in the younger levels. Those are all things that I just need to make notes of. And then I think that I will be packing up some of the middle grade books that I have, mainly because Jack is starting to enter the high school years. Emma's already all in on high school, and Lucy still has a few more years of upper elementary before she gets to the middle grade stuff. I think that's going to help me feel like everything's a little bit more cohesive. I thought that I wanted all of the books out so that I had them available when I needed something. But what I'm realizing is it's way too many books out, and it's a little overwhelming for me to see. But because I had kids this past year full in elementary, full in middle school, and full in high school, I felt like I needed all of those resources available, because even as the year goes on, I will pick and choose different things based on how our year is going. So having all of that curriculum is good, and it can also be a challenge. This year I also will start mapping out high school for Jack and then updating my high school map for Emma. Like I said, if she were in public school, she would be finishing her freshman year, but she's actually finishing her second year high school level work. So she's going into her third year high school work, even though she technically has 3 more years of high school. So her goal has always been to graduate early and kind of finish school by 16, which she won't be there at 16, but she will she will be able to finish a little bit earlier. And because in the state of Maine, we're allowed to do dual enrollment for free at University of Maine, there's a lot of options for us. I'm really unsure how to go about doing those options. Partly because she doesn't feel like she's ready to start college classes quite yet. And even though at 14, she's able to start, at 14, you're able to start taking the dual enrollment classes at University of Maine or at one of the community colleges. And that is free. I think they give you 12 credits free per year right through your senior year. So you have a good number of credits under your belt by the time you graduate. And if you use University of Maine, you're able to transfer those if you go to a University of Maine college. So that is definitely something that we want to focus on, but I feel like maybe I don't want to push her into the college classes before she's ready, partly because obviously those are on a permanent transcript for her, and if she doesn't do well, I'm not really concerned about that, but just making sure that she's fully ready. And there are still things that we want to explore in our homeschool. So I'm not at the point, I don't think, where I want her to be doing those courses. So the fact that she's able to kind of finish up her homeschool curriculum a little bit earlier, that will give her the opportunity to do maybe a few more dual enrollment classes as the last couple of years of her high school career as a homeschooler. It'll be a little bit different though, because if she takes more than the 12 credits, we do have to pay, but it's at a reduced rate. And just trying to figure out what that's going to look like. I'm not sure. We are not sure what she wants to do after high school yet. I do have a book that we're going to be working through probably this summer. Let me see. I have this book that we're probably going to be working through this summer, Finding the Career That Fits You. It's a workbook. I think it goes with like an actual book, but we just got the workbook, and so we're going to go through this, and hopefully that's going to help her figure out maybe what direction she wants to go. She wants to go to college, but she doesn't know what she wants to study. She's very interested in the arts. I'm not entirely sure that going to college for the arts is necessary. Maybe, I'm not sure. So we're kind of just trying to figure it out. And that is part of the planning process for me, making those lists, mapping out high school, checking in with Emma's high school map, and just making sure that we're hitting all of the credits that she needs, that I'm requiring of her to graduate. Maine does not have specific graduation requirements, so I am using what the admissions requirements are for the University of Maine. And I also looked at a couple of my college, Gordon College in Massachusetts, to see what their requirements were, just so that I have an idea and make sure that she's doing all that she needs to do. This is probably going to be her hardest year in homeschool, and that does worry me a little bit, but I think that she's ready. And I think that she's excited to work on these things. But yes, so homeschool planning has started. It starts with lists for me and looking through the new catalogs, figuring out if I want to replace instructor's guides or if I need new books. I get most of our resources from resources that we've already purchased through Sunlight, because I really love the literature-based learning that we have done for the past 12 years. And I'm not going to change that. Obviously, I tweak things because my kids are different learners, and that is totally okay, but I still use the Sunlight books, and we just change how I use them for each student. So this is just the exploration phase. This is not the final phase of how everything is going to go. And that's okay. It is still the early months. I do try to figure out what new resources and curriculum I need pretty soon after I start my lists. And that is mainly because since 2020, homeschool curriculum tends to take a lot longer to get to us than it used to. And so I want to make sure that I have all of our resources when we start new resources in July. I'm not quite sure when our first day of school is going to be. Last year, it was mid-July. The year before that, it was the end of July. You know, we usually start in, the end of July, beginning of August. Because it just works for us, and it probably will be similar this year, but maybe we'll wait until after Jack's birthday, which is at the beginning of August. I'm not sure. So I kind of need to have my resources in front of me before I can pick a start date. So that's my focus right now, just figuring out what new books and resources I need, making sure that I find all of the curriculum for the electives that we need, not that we need, but that the kids want to do, especially Jack with Japanese. That's one that I have spent a lot of time trying to figure out. I will share all of this information with you as I'm going through the planning process. We are having a lot of conversation right now in the Patreon community about homeschool planning for next year, different ideas, how to structure our year. I'm a year-round homeschooler, and so I feel like a little bit more leeway as to how I plan our year, because I'm looking at 12 months instead of 9 months. So if you're interested in maybe deep diving more on homeschool planning, I would love for you to come check out the Patreon community. I will leave a link in the description box for that. So this is just part one, starting the lists, starting the research, looking at the resources that I already have, and figuring out if there are updates to resources that we have used in the past that I need to either get new instructor's guides for, I need to get new books for, whatever that is. That is the part of planning that I am in right now. It's exciting, and it does give you a little bit of boost to get through the end of the year, I feel like, because you know that you need to finish up this year before you can get to the new resources. And one of the things that I tend to do is not go through all of the new resources until we've completed our year. Even if I have them ahead of time, I will go through just to make sure that everything is in the box, but I won't really start to look at the new resources until we've completed our homeschool year. So that gives me a little bit of motivation to finish strong, which we will be doing soon. I can't believe we just have a few weeks left of this year. It's a little crazy to me, but I am excited. If you have questions about anything that I talked about in this video, please let me know in the comments, or you can email me. My contact form is always in the description box. Are you thinking about homeschool planning for next year already? I actually saw somebody post their curriculum choices at the beginning of February, and I was like, wow, I can't believe you already have your resources in hand. That was crazy to me. I definitely feel early, but not that early. So thank you again so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.